Hey guys, James Nielsen here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the vlog assignment. We'll look at the assignment guidelines as well as the rubric, and then I'm going to go into some of the things that I think you guys could learn and should know when it comes to vlogging. All right, let's dive into the assignment guidelines. So this vlog could focus on a number of different things, but the basic theme should be self-reflection and evaluation for this class and the whole semester. You could discuss the assignments, the objectives, the concepts that you learned, the difference between working in class and out of class, what you learned in the class that will help you prepare for your future goals or endeavors as a media person, as a videographer. This should be in video format, and it is required to be between 2 and 5 minutes like our previous assignments. We're still expecting you to use these concepts of design and modalities within the vlog. So it should not just be you only talking to the camera with no other consideration given to sound or setup or modality. Okay, so make sure that you're still putting that time and effort into design and probably into scripting and storyboarding still too. Okay, you might want to show off different projects that you've completed in our class. You could put together clips of some of our previous videos like the PSA or digital narrative. You can show your physical surroundings and discuss the challenges of working from home. There's a ton of opportunities here, but it should not just be you only talking to the vlog. Speaking of which, I told you guys what not to do, so let's make this video more interesting, yeah? All right, let's do this. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's do this. So, what I want to do here is I want to talk about first your physical. No. Looking over my video. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I don't like the creative choices I'm making here. It's the end of the semester. It's water, guys. Guys, it's water. It's water. Yeah. All right, let's do something different. Let's do something different. Let's look at some examples of vlogs and vloggers, and let's just focus on some techniques, lighting, backgrounds, audio, other kind of genre conventions of vlogging. I've already gone over the assignment guidelines, and so now let's just focus on some good and bad examples, shall we? So this is Peter McKinnon. He is a daily vlogger. And the thing that he says in this first minute of this video, I really like. I'd recommend watching the whole thing. We're going to watch that first 40 seconds.
So here's the thing with how to make a vlog. There's no definitive guide. There's no rule book. There's no blanket statements. There's no do these things and you will make successful vlogs that everybody loves that are tons of fun. That doesn't exist. It solely depends on you. Your personality is more important than doing fun things like jumping out of a plane or doing fun things like ripping a Lamborghini around a racetrack in Monaco. Those are all awesome things to do and they make great vlog content. But you take the person out of that situation that is the
Hear the out? Canadian.
vlogger. You take the vlogger out of those fun scenarios and all you have is just an emotionless commercial that you just flip through on TV.
And by the way, we can see some techniques of effective vlogging already here. One is lighting. We like to have lighting, usually a 3-point system, and I'm going to keep my explanations very DIY because vlogging actually is often very DIY, okay? And so I'm guessing that actually there's natural lighting right here on the side of his face. Usually we want there to be more lighting on one side of our face than on the other. I'll show you guys my setup here, okay? So I'm recording right here on my my GoPro. No lighting over here. I actually had a light up here, and I had another light right here, and then you might be able to see I have a light right behind me here, okay? What this light right here does is it helps frame my silhouette, and so I look detached enough from the background. Otherwise, I might look kind of like everything's in the background. Now, you might wonder, like, why are my lights off? Well, because I found that my natural light over here was good enough. And then the light that I was getting over here was good enough. And I kind of wanted to have this little bit of darkness on this side of the face and then the lighterness on this side. It's okay to kind of set up your stuff in DIY kind of ways and practice and see how you look in different types of lighting. Because I haven't used this GoPro much for vlogging and just like outdoor adventure stuff, I actually tried a lot of the different settings as well and played with those. Okay, so it's okay to be DIY, but just remember what Peter McKinnon says here about it's really about you. Just be you. Again, he's a daily vlogger, which there are different types of vloggers. And so they'll often like leave their house and their desk to go adventure and explore. And each of their videos is often some kind of new story. Also, a different thing that daily vloggers often do is they often discover the story in the edit, not to begin with. With us right here, we often talk about storyboarding and pre-production and setting everything up. And so there are, again, those slight differences here with different types of vloggers. Are you simply recording what happens throughout the day and you'll find the story in the edit? Or are you trying to tell a very specific story? So this example is from the Vlogbrothers. These are some of the oldest vloggers on YouTube. Not the oldest, but some of the oldest. And one thing you'll notice here is, just like our last one, we have lighting more on one side than on the other, though he's fairly lit up, okay? You can see that he has lights because of these shadows here. But also notice that backgrounds, okay? Another important thing is we have some kind of interesting background. Now, we like to frame it in a kind of way so that things sort of fit. They don't have to fit perfectly. You don't want the background to be boring, basically, or confusing. You know, you want it to be focused on you. And so that's why all the lights are on him. And one thing that both of these guys do is because they have some kind of DSLR camera with a decent lens, they can actually create what's called bokeh effect back here, okay? And that's just that blurred out effect. We really enjoy that blurred out effect, especially with nicer cameras. However, if we're just using a phone, oftentimes we can't get that same quality just because you often need that lens for that dynamic range. To basically what John Green does here is he does his vlogs based off of topics. Now notice the jump cut. Okay, so when we cut this, his body is going to be in a different location than it is to begin with. Right here we have a lot of empty space over here, and we have a background that's interesting, but see that cut? And now he's in the middle. So that's called what we would call a jump cut. Okay, a jump cut is a very standard vlogging genre convention. You don't have to do it, but it's actually kind of nice because one of the things with vlogging is a lot of the genre conventions are created because vlogging is often done by yourself. Our first vlogger ever is a guy named Zay Frank. He kind of started vlogging and he created a lot of these conventions that I'm talking about.
Don't call it a comeback. I'll have hair for years. I'm scared. I'm scared.
So this is a video he produced 8 years ago when he was trying to get back into vlogging after he had stopped for a while. But I think he started, 10 years before this.
That my abilities are gone. I'm scared that I'm going to fuck this up. And I'm scared of you. I don't want to start, but I will. This is an...
So another thing that he does is these zoom cuts, okay, or these I don't know what the official title is for these, but when we want to say something intense or funny or silly, or when we're confused, we might do a zoom up. And another person that does this a lot I've seen is PewDiePie. But before we jump to PewDiePie, Zay Frank, so he sits in front of the camera and he's just talking, right? Same with Hank and John Green, the Vlogbrothers here, whereas Peter McKinnon is often out doing things, but sometimes does sit-down vlogs.
PewDiePie submission mod when someone has an opinion. PewDiePie submission mod when users threaten to kill a 7-year-old because he likes Fortnite and TikTok. When did that happen?
While he's gaming, it might always or mostly be kind of a little small camera, kind of like what you guys see with Zoom. But then it also cuts back to his full camera occasionally like this. But then watch.
They would shut that down. I never seen anything like that.
So to keep the action going, keep us interested, we have some variety in how the camera is shown. If it is only ever like this, like what my GoPro is showing you the entire time, without any changes, without any other modalities, without any other action, it would be quite boring. And so different vloggers in different subgenres of vlogging have created these different methods. So vlogging is a little bit hard to define, like what is a video log, right? And then there are different subgenres. One of them is like tech videos on YouTube. One of the biggest tech YouTubers is MKBHD. He starts off with a stereotypical vlog convention, which is talking to yourself.
Well, that was garbage. Huh? Wait, what did you say? Well, this is entirely vague, baseless claims, right? But hold on, this is really promising.
So this is a joke that is often done in vlogging. It doesn't mean that you have to do it, but I just am showing this to you to show you that vlogs do have conventions, they do have styles. There are certain things that people are more likely to do in a YouTube video or a vlog than they will be if they have like a full pre-production and they have like a lot of people, if they have a cinematographer, if they have a director who's going to be doing these other things. When we are required to do this vlog on our own or in a smaller group of people, we have to be a little bit more creative on how we do things like that. Another common thing with vlogs is some kind of introduction.
Hey, what's up? MKBHD here. So I've been using the
So we
new
have an introduction there.
M1 MacBook Pro for
Music is
about
slowly
a
going
week
down.
straight daily, and I've only plugged it in once. It's pretty incredible. So this was a really fascinating review period. We've seen a lot in 2020, and these new M1 Macs are some of the most interesting.
And for different vloggers, they'll cut out the sound completely when they're speaking. Sometimes they'll keep the sound going. Sometimes the sound will only show up at certain parts. Now, don't forget that one of the ways that you're graded is on modalities and use of modalities. And so we don't want it to just be you talking to the camera. A good example of this is Wheezy Waiter. He's one of the first vloggers that I ever started following back in 2010 or 2009. But he's since reinvented his channel a bit, and it is a little bit more modality heavy, I would say.
Why did we do this? Well, why do you want to do this?
Why do I want to do this? I'm on the internet all the time. Looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram, looking at Twitter. And it makes me feel bad.
I'm a Twitter guy, constantly scrolling Twitter.
So his thing is all about adding a lot of stupid, silly, funny comedy bits in. But it's all revolved around him sitting at his computer. So this is his kind of foundation of his vlog. And then from there, he'll jump to interviews with different people, specifically with his wife. He'll interview, I think, scholars. But he incorporates a lot of graphics as well. He incorporates a lot of creativity in using modalities in interesting ways, okay? This is an example of a daily vlog, and it is quite different. And I'm not going to go into details about daily vlogging too much, but you are welcome to vlog in unique ways. For example, sometimes Casey Neistat will be talking about one thing, so he might talk about like how much he loves his son, but it's cut between him being in a taxi, then on the airplane, then in like Dubai, and then back on the airplane, and then back home. And he doesn't always do this in this style, but he'll be talking about that same thing as he's cut between these different locations, right? Which tells us that I don't need to just be in this little box with this just pretty background. If I want it to be a little bit more exploratory, a little bit more kind of feel lived in and more daily vlogger-like, I can use other techniques, but be very careful in doing this because we still expect you to have well-framed shots, good audio. If you're walking down the street and you're holding your phone, and because your camera setup isn't as good as another daily vlogger, I can only hear the traffic and I can't actually hear you speaking to me, or the traffic is so loud that it's difficult to hear and the sun is shining on you in like this weird way, and maybe your phone is maybe an older phone and so it doesn't have stabilization as much, and so it's shaky and the sky is blown out behind you. Like, we don't want to create something that messy. We want to make sure that we've put time, like you are required to storyboard this. Like I told you before, most daily vloggers seem to look for their story in the edit. Sometimes when they're recording their video during the day, they'll have an idea of what this video is going to be about as they're going throughout their day. But oftentimes daily vloggers just start shooting video of their day, and whatever happens, happens. I've done that before. I daily vlogged my Pacific Crest Trail hike. I daily vlogged my bicycle trip from here to down to Almaty. And so I have some familiarity with that, and I tend to also like to find the story in the edit, but that does make it hard for this whole pre-production part because I'm honestly not as good at that. But if you put time and effort into this pre-production part, then the editing is a lot easier, I promise, okay? So next I want to look at some of the videos that I've produced, not just to show off my own videos, but I know what it took to make, and so I can kind of talk about the lighting and audio and things like that. So let's dive in. This is a channel called Critical Mormon. I created this channel this year. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint doctrine, we're taught that prophets are called of God. Now, you'll notice that I'm actually using this area as a background, which was good and bad, okay? You'll notice that my face has some light on it. I'm actually using the same lamp here. And I'm using the lighting that will like go right down on my face from the kitchen. So it actually works really well to light up my face here. And I've done some color correction, as you can see, to make things darker here. You can see the light around my shoulders right here and over there. That's from natural lighting, but it's also from this key light right here. It's a dynamic background. It's interesting. We're looking at this in an interesting way. We have some plants. We don't have just a blank wall. And then the background has the curtains, right? Now, the bad thing about this is I could have used that natural light on my face, and instead I faced the camera toward the natural light, so I had to close the blinds. Otherwise, the blinds would have just let in all of this light, and it would have looked bad, okay? And so sometimes you want to use natural light in your benefit. I didn't use it in my benefit as much here. Another issue that I had with this vlog was audio, because audio is really temperamental. And so I recorded a part of the video normally, and then I realized that I needed to record more. And so I later went and recorded more. And what happened is I recorded it at a different time, and so it sounded different. And so a few things you can do with audio to make it sound better is make sure that you're recording it in kind of the same place in the same way whenever you record more audio. If you can, record all of your audio at once so it doesn't sound different throughout the video. Do want to make sure that you have the best audio. Make sure you shoot in a place that isn't too echoey. Hanging blankets and sheets from the ceiling, or being in a place where there are curtains. Over here I have a sheet drying right here, and so this is actually helping with the echo from the kitchen. And then use whatever best device you have for recording audio as you can. If that's just your camera that you're recording on, then that's fine. But if you're recording on a separate camera and you have a phone or something else that might record audio better, then it's okay to record audio separately. And then when you edit it, put it all together, and the audio will sound a little bit better. But just remember, the content, it's about you, okay? Backgrounds, make it interesting, not boring. Frame it, bokeh if you can. Add some color, add some light, use different things around your house. Don't go out and buy things. Solid plain colored walls could potentially be done well, but we usually like more dynamic backgrounds. Lighting, you want to have lighting, usually a 3-point setup. So something over here, something kind of directly in front of you or from behind you, just to kind of give you light around your hair, your head, but still having like a little bit more light on one side of the face than the other, and using as much natural light as I can. Thinking about not just the light, but the color. Okay, so if I use white light versus more orange light, it will change the way that the video looks. Okay, so take that into consideration and think about what colors you want. As I mentioned, there is this talking head version of vlogging versus the daily vlogging, as well as a lot of stuff in between. Figure out what style you like, and you can even mix them a little bit. And then just don't forget that you have access to these genre conventions like jump cuts, face zooms, talking directly to the camera, some kind of intro, starting the video with something interesting or funny, some kind of hook, talking to yourself, mentioning things like commenting, liking, checking the description. So you just want to think about all of these different ways that you can use the vlogging conventions to your benefit. One final thing, I would ask that you guys upload your video to YouTube. You're welcome to upload it to Google Drive, but I do think it would be best to upload it to YouTube and then link it to your blog from there. Even if you have a blog website where you're going to put the video, it's good to make sure that your video can stand alone on its own on YouTube. If you have an NU Gmail, you automatically have a YouTube, and you can just click upload there. So that's all I have to say about vlogging. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the semester. It's been fun. Talk to you again soon.